Hey, good afternoon. This is Bob from Trade Genius. I wanted to do a quick sector review, and I thought it'd be easier than trying to pick out some individual stocks because some really interesting things are happening as I went through looking at for tomorrow. So I'm going to blast through my 20 or so sectors here pretty quickly and just give you my thoughts. The ag chems had a big bounce today, and but for right now it looks like a dead cat bounce until the intensity turns up. Pharmaceuticals. Give me 1 second here. Okay, pharmaceuticals to me looks like a gap fill, and it's already getting overbought. No intensity, and I'd still stay away from this sector. XBI, I talked about this on my earlier video. It looks like it's trying to fill the gap here, trying to break through the downtrend line, and intensity is positive, but it's still not where I'd like it to be. So we'll see if we get any follow through on biotech. I'm currently long it. Moo, same difference. Same as the ag chems. Bounce off of VWAP, and this is one that I like long term. I haven't re-entered it yet. I'm waiting to see the intensity turn up, but it's definitely one I'm watching to get back long. Discretionary stocks, I think they're rolling over, and the momentum's up here. This is already at getting overbought, and so if can't really short it yet, but you certainly could sell calls against it. IWM, same as SPY I talked about earlier. But it's making a lower high. It's already topping out. Intensity is positive, but it's just in the lower end of the band, and I'd be looking for this thing to roll over, probably right below this number here. I would maybe 111, the 111.68, probably 111.50, probably be a good place to actually put some puts or go short. XME, this one looks for next opportunity to short it. There's just no intensity, waiting for this to roll over, but I think this will make another leg down. And May, June goes into a weak period for metals and miners. Even though today kind of was a pop, but I think it's probably with a dead cat bounce too. Semiconductors are climbing out of a big hole they're in. I like it when both intensity and momentum are coming out from the oversold area together. I'd like to see maybe not on this move, but if intensity continues to move forward, next down could be a move higher. So it's just something to keep an eye on. It's been hit pretty hard. Healthcare sector, look at this one. Title listing, head and shoulder patterns. Shoulder, head, shoulder, overbought. Get a rollover on this, and I think we have a nice move down here on the in the healthcare space. DBA, my favorite. I'm convinced that we're going into a higher food price environment, and it's just pretty strong, and looking for opportunities. I'm long this, but I'm not really trading it. So, but got another bounce today. I don't know if it's a dead cat bounce with everything else that moved. It seemed like all the dollar negative stuff popped today. I don't know if it's going to be a head fake for people to get out before the dollar really gets going. But for right now, DBA looks pretty good, but I hold it for the long term. Same with JJG, holding above VWAP. It's bouncing again, and it's neutral if you're trading it, but if you owning it for the long term, it's looking really good. The material sector, same as XME to me. Shoulder, head, shoulder, getting overbought. Intensity is really not there. I'm looking for this to roll back over and have a nice move down. Home builder has been kind of creeping along the VWAP line here. It's already overbought. It's lower high. Wouldn't call this a head and shoulders pattern, but it's making the same lower high pattern as a head and shoulder pattern would be. And I wouldn't be a buyer here. I'd look for it to roll back over and get shorted again. The utility space, just skip it. I don't really trade it. SPY, we talked about it. One thing I didn't talk about earlier is that the shoulders here, the head's here. Now we got another shoulder forming. So, the key thing to look at is we get back below this 204, high 204, 205 area, maybe even a little bit higher. It completes again, and then I'm still looking for that gap fill below 200. I think this move higher is not going to be sustainable, and we'll see how it reacts to being overbought on the momentum side, and what happens when it rolls over. The Russell here has had a nice move higher, and it looks like it can continue. So I wouldn't be short this thing yet. Let this thing roll over first, but just think keep pushing up. Healthcare equipment, seems like all the health related stuff is struggling a little bit. The pharmaceuticals, biotech, for as great of the day the market was, didn't really follow through. We'll see if we get any follow through, but healthcare equipment is punked too. I just think it's political. I just think that they're really worried about what's going to happen when these rate increases hit right at the election. I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on politicians to do something about healthcare costs. Financials, it's got a cross here. We'll see if that's a head fake and push higher. The intensity is back on the upper end here, so you got to respect that. But I'd be watching for a failure here. If not, it's going to keep pushing higher. I wouldn't short this yet, nor would I be selling any calls against it. Technology sector looks like the semiconductors. It looks like it's getting a bit of a bid here, but it's getting overbought. So we'll see if it can cross over this area here, 43.23, before it rolls back down. But if it rolls back down, the next move higher could be a higher low and a higher high. So just bear that in mind. The industrials looks like a head and shoulders pattern to me, and it's already overbought. Intensity is picking up though. We'll see if that rolls back. So if this rolls over and rolls back over below 50, then this would be a good short as well. GLD, I don't even know what to make of the day today. It looks like we got to move higher. The intensity is still in the right end. Everything tells us seasonally that gold, silver, miners, metals should be have a week, 6 weeks, into the future to the end of June, and they're just kind of holding on. We'll see what happens tonight to see if this was a push up to get people wrong-footed for what I call the Tuesday night massacre that happens early Wednesday morning. And but if gold pushes higher tomorrow, then there's more to it than that. Then they're just definitely sniffing out that everybody's just going to print like crazy. Energy sector, I'm not bullish on energy at all. I think this was the top, and I think it's the top for the year. No matter what people are saying about the oil industry and oil market, and the economy is not doing well. You just saw these consumer companies report, and they're all missing revenues left and right. I mean, people just don't have any money, and people don't have jobs, and people are getting older. And this is not just an American phenomenon; it's around the world. And we just had a bill that just went through the roof on the oil storage that we have. So, once this rolls over, I think then we'll get a good move down. I think we'll get energy down here in the low 60s, if not below 60. That's what I'm watching for. I'm long ERY, by the way. Silver, I just think it's crawling along this line here, and I think it's going to drop off tomorrow. And we'll just see how this the momentum plays out. But intensity is definitely waning. At XIV, my favorite in the world, but I just think it maxed out here. and I'm short volatility through UVXY puts, and I'll be closing them tomorrow, and we'll just see where this goes. But this had another great run. I mean, $25 to almost $30 in a week. That's pretty good. That's 16% move. You could just make a living just trading XIV every time it gets oversold. You don't have to even mess with anything else. In fact, most of my trade volume and capital is dedicated towards XIV. And GDXJ, we talked about miners of metals a little bit here. This one didn't do as well as it popped at the end of the day like everybody else, but I just think that was after the gold markets closed. I still think it's a setup. We'll see if I'm right or wrong tomorrow. GDX the same. Consumer staples. You know what's so funny? I poo-pooed this at the beginning of the month. Staples are the #1 performer in the month of May, and it's proving itself out. Just can't ignore these seasonals. They seem to come through. Reason why they're seasonals. And I just said, oh, it doesn't look good. It's kind of a rolling over pattern here, and then boom, popped it, and it's been running. It's just not enough beta for me to trade, but it's just something to bear in mind in case this is more of an area of interest to you. Oil market, I'm short the oil market, and I just think it's struggling as I just talked about before. And that's my report. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it wasn't too long. Have a great night.